Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Metaverse. Welcome to this special activity for our NFT 101 showcase. Tonight, we will be touring an extraordinary art collection in an extraordinary venue. Before we begin, a few guidelines. There will be a question and answer portion at the end of the talk. So we encourage everybody to please type in your questions at the Q&A button, and one of the moderators will get to you at some point during the talk. This NFT 101 showcase is part of Art Fair PH projects, which is co-presented by BPI, the Bank of the Philippine Islands. We would also like to thank our education partners, the Ateneo Art Gallery, Museum Foundation of the Philippines, and Art Review. Okay, the three curators of our project section will take you to Decentraland, a virtual world with its own art district where you will tour Narra Gallery and you will see the collection of two of our curators. Before the three of them bring you there, let me introduce them to you. First, Chris Fussner, the founder of Tropical Futures Institute. Chris has become an invaluable resource in putting this section together. Tropical Futures Institute actually has a great art program which has brought them to Art Dubai, Sea Focus, and of course, Art Fair Philippines. And Chris continues to look towards new ideas, models, and practices. Colin Goltra, who co-owns Narra Gallery, is the director for Southeast Asia at Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency platform. He runs the blog Speculations, which has a solid following in the crypto world. And his thoughts have also been featured globally in the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times Magazine. And lastly, I'd like to bring in Gabby Dizon, who also co-owns Narra Gallery. Gabby has been in the technology space for the past 20 years. He is the co-founder of Altitude Games and Yield Guild Games, and he has been active in NFTs since 2018. So nice to see you three guys again, and we're excited to go to Decentraland.
Thanks, Tricky.
Good evening.
Hey everyone, I'm Chris. I'm just gonna do a quick intro on myself. So I'm the founder of Tropical Futures Institute. We're a multidisciplinary think tank and studio engaging in cultural production and research related to things like residencies, parties, art and design shows, as well as representing artists at art fairs around the world. And we've most recently started doing some curation. Earlier this year, we did a project with National Gallery of Singapore, and right now we're honored to be a co-curator at Art Fair Philippines. So this whole thing started a couple months back when Tricky DM'd me, thanks to my trollish Instagram name, DJ_blockchain_algorithms. And I then proceeded to rope Colin and Gabby in, on this Discord that I was lurking in and just sort of like stalking them and stalking like a bunch of other people on the interwebs. And, you know, lo and behold, you know, we're here 5 months later, haven't met in real life yet, but hopefully,
yeah, that's
hopefully
that's a proper metaverse introduction. It's all Telegram threads and Instagram DMs and Discord servers and and not that much in-person meetings anymore.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully that changes. So so my crypto journey started in 2014. I was researching decentralized mesh networks, which then led me to Bitcoin. And basically, you know, 7 years later, I'm finally combining my cultural practice with my interest in crypto by being a co-curator here. And I'm more of like a macro NFT ecosystem participant, just sort of observing different areas of art, design, gaming, finance, and just a word about the section. So the objective of the program for Welcome to the Metaverse is to introduce as many different voices surrounding the NFT and crypto art space for us to get a better understanding of this nascent technology. So that is, so we have voices from like the crypto PH community. We have early Filipino crypto art adopters and artists, as well as international veteran blockchain artists. And we also have traditional art world voices exploring crypto art. So over the next few days, and you know, we hope we can add to your existing knowledge, or if you're new, hopefully create a more informed opinion about this space, as it's just been so hype. So so NFTs are certainly in some sort of bubble, as like we see the whole entire cryptocurrency market have a run up over this last year, you know, potentially entering a super cycle. However, there are definitely novel and sociological innovations embedded within this NFT hype. That hopefully has long-lasting implications on the internet after things sort of move on, if they do move on. So with that, yeah, I mean, I'll let Colin and Gabby take it away.
Perhaps a quick introduction of myself. Hey everybody, I'm Colin Goltra. Relevant here is I'm the kind of co-founder, co-creator, co-owner of Narra Gallery. Narra Gallery is it's a little hard to explain. It's kind of it's a virtual gallery of sorts, but we see it as a little bit more nebulous. I think we're still discovering what the crypto art and NFT space is, and I think Narra is a vehicle for Gabby and myself to sort of play in that world. I guess by way of background, very quickly, my background is in tech and finance. My experience previously in the art world is maybe a little bit more participatory, through festivals like the Burning Man Festival and others. And so my view of art is one that's very experiential, performative, and interactive in a really by day I'm in the cryptocurrency industry, and I've been in the cryptocurrency industry for several years, and really see the extension of crypto art as a part of that mission. I think it's a tool for empowerment, and I hope we can kind of demonstrate that with some of the crypto artists we'll show to you this week and at Narra.
Thanks for the intro, Colin. So my name is Gabby Dizon. I'm also the co-owner of Narra Gallery. I'm a software entrepreneur. I've been in the gaming space since 2003. Entered blockchain in 2017 when we were trying to see how Ethereum and smart contracts could potentially disrupt the game industry. And it's from there that we found NFTs. So I've been very deep in the NFT space since 2018, starting with NFTs for gaming, and then eventually found crypto art, and then the intersection of NFTs and DeFi. Started collecting crypto art in a big way last year, and then helped bring on different artists from the digital art space. And then I joined a Discord group called the 100X Art Group. And this group was a gathering of some of the largest art collectors around the metaverse. And we decided to buy a district in Decentraland called the 100X Art District, and put up art galleries next to each other. It was a really cool way to kind of invest in land, put up an arts district, and then each gallery has kind of the design and flavor reflecting the personality of each collector. And Colin and I had been collecting crypto art separately, but we decided to team up for the gallery, and we named it Narra Gallery because we wanted to reflect the Filipino culture and heritage. Another digital artist, Chelison, actually helped design the Narra Gallery, and then with another Filipino 3D artist, Van Halen Tunanan, we executed it, and we put it in Decentraland, launched in January, and now here we are, right in front of it. So the Narra Gallery is 5 floors. So the way it works in Decentraland is that you have to buy each plot of land to be able to build on it. So there's digital scarcity, there's a limited amount of lands. And actually now that a lot more people are buying up lands, it's getting to be more expensive, especially in a district like the 100X Art District. The more lands that you have in a contiguous estate, the higher you can build. So what we have here is actually a 9-plot 3x3 land estate so that we could build up to 5 floors. And we're alternating floors within Colin and my collection. And what we see here in the first floor is Colin's collection. So I'll turn it over to him.
Yeah, thanks, Gabby.
You guys can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can. Yeah, sorry, we should have clarified
just
that.
Just double checking.
Yeah, fantastic. So Chris is walking around with his avatar. I think he is walking in right now. It's slightly laggy, but as we come into the first floor here, this is a sampling from my private collection. I'd say thematically, I guess I would call out a few things. So one, it's very nerdy and sci-fi, right? I think there's standard crypto art themes of I guess crypto itself is started by a group called the cypherpunks, which are which was a cryptography kind of mailing list. And as the name might suggest, even that kind of has beckons to like a cyberpunk aesthetic, right? And so I think I'd say the metaverse aesthetic. Another term I really like is called etherealism. To call it that is it's very, I'd say, sci-fi. It's very there's a psychedelic element to it. There's themes of maybe transcendence and kind of interfacing with the digital world in an interesting way. And so yeah, I guess this is my collection here. I'm happy to give you a tour of a handful of works. I have some gallery notes here. The first one here is immediately to the right, Chris. No, not that one. The Android Jones piece right next to you.
Oh yeah, sorry, I don't know, my computer. Okay, here we go. It's a bit laggy. I reduced the graphics and stuff to be smoother, but
oh, no worries. Here we go. Yeah, so this first one is a piece called Blue Wave. It's by a favorite artist of mine named Android Jones. Prior to his entry into the NFT world, Android Jones was most well known actually as part of the Burning Man movement, which I maybe mentioned previously. I think I think thematically maybe the movement he's part of is it's called visionary art, which is a movement kind of beckoning back to Alex Gray and certain other kind of psychedelic artists. He's kind of a psychedelic with kind of a flavor of kind of Android or technological sci-fi themes, as his name might suggest, right? So this is a piece called Blue Wave by Android Jones, and I have several other Android pieces in the gallery here as well. Perhaps a second one. Now let's go to the one called Connected, Chris. It's actually on the opposite side. It's the one from Unholy Unions. Yeah, here we go.
This one with the fingers?
So yeah, this one
from
that's it.
From the Medium article? Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So this one here is called Connected. It's by an artist called Max Quest. He's kind of a less well-known artist, but I think one of the things noteworthy here is it's the cover for an article of mine that kind of got good circulation in our community called Unholy Unions. And the thesis of that article was essentially digital artists historically have been kind of an outsider group, at least in the traditional art world. And the crypto world, maybe the commercial world, the industrial crypto world, is also kind of an outsider group in the broader, say, economy or financial system. And so in many ways, the thesis of that article was, hey, these are two groups that can actually benefit quite a lot from one another, right? This crypto commercial class has not made a cultural impact yet. And then this digital artist class has not made a lot of money yet, right? And so it was basically a call to say, hey, we kind of need each other, and we should be working together more closely, and we can kind of ride our own cultural movement together, right? And so this was kind of on the, I think Gabby and I focus quite a lot on the cultural impact of of kind of the crypto world, not just the crypto art world, right? And so we see crypto art as a core part of that cultural movement. And so, yeah, I like that one just because it beckons to Michelangelo's painting with on the Sistine Chapel with God and David and kind of the divine touch. And so this is kind of a digital moment where we can have kind of a creation moment. So yeah, I like this piece a lot. Couple more pieces in the collection, and then I think we should go to Gabby's. Let's go up the ramp, Chris. So yeah, let's start with thirds. There we go. So this first one here, or this third one here, appropriately actually, is a piece called Thirds. It's perhaps the flagship piece of my collection. It's a collaboration between two of my favorite artists. I'm going to call every artist here my favorite artist, but it is the first floor of my gallery into my collection. So almost by definition, most of the pieces here will be from my favorite artists. But truly, two of my favorite artists, Pack and Glass Crane. Oh, we're running around. Yep, there we go. Pack and Glass Crane, two very notable artists. So Glass Crane is another kind of visionary artist or part of the etherealism movement. He's good friends with Android Jones, whose piece we saw initially. And then Pak is a very unique figure in our movement. He also goes by Murat Pak sometimes. He is, not even a he. It's an it or they or a he or a she. It's a pseudonymous artist who, we don't know this person's identity. We don't know where they're from. They've been in the digital art space for a long time. They're also very notable for creating ArtCollect, which is a well-known bot on aesthetics AI that lives on social media and shares images. And everything that Pak has on the crypto art space is a little puzzle-like or experiential. And so Pak understands it very, very natively. So they did a collab here. Normally this one spins. Right now the video file doesn't spin in Decentraland. But there was quite this public ceremony around the bidding process for this, and I was able to win out in a somewhat public auction for it. And yeah, this is a collab between truly two of my favorite artists, and I think another theme here is that there's quite a lot of collaborations in this space, which I think is a very internet native thing as well. Oh, and then I guess the other notable thing about Pak is he recently had a major show at Sotheby's. It was after the Beeple one. It was the other sort of very notable show in a major traditional auction house. And this is another work by Pak as well. And he essentially had sold pieces for millions of dollars there. I think he had a couple pieces that each went for over $1 million each, and a large public participation in this thing called the Cube. I think maybe that speaks to the theme of of crypto art being very participatory. And actually, I think something that I think is maybe provocative. One of his pieces that sold in that auction was a single pixel. So not a dot or anything. It was a single pixel that was the color gray, and he sold it for $1.4 million or $1.1 million, something like that. So the space is it's maturing in its own way. I'll go through my next couple pieces very quickly because I may be taking a bit of time here. Next one is the white one in front of you, Parabola. This is a piece by again another favorite artist named Totemical. And the reason this one's noteworthy is Totemical. I don't know if he coined the term or if he was just sort of one of the first instances to really popularize the term. He coined the term etherealism, which is a favorite term of mine. Again, he's a contemporary of Glass Crane and Android Jones. There's a bit of a psychedelic surreal element. Lots of figures, plays with lighting quite a lot, and it's noteworthy because a similar piece by Totemical was actually the reason I first started collecting crypto art. He had a piece called Obscurus. I really fell in love with it, but I kind of didn't know the interaction mechanism yet between collectors and artists, and I lost out on the auction. And so this one is kind of my makeup for that one, which I love this one a lot as well. So it works. And then the final one here is the Fuocious piece. Yep. This is another collaboration piece between two very young artists. This is Fuocious and Jonathan Wolf. This is a piece called Bittersweet. Again, I think the theme here is that there's a lot of collaborations in the space. I think another theme here is that truly, like, any artist with any pedigree can kind of get discovered in the crypto art world, right? And so Fuocious is a self-taught artist. I think he was 17 when this transaction happened. He's 18 now, and self-taught. Was working in his parents' like a room in his parents' house, and basically became financially independent and then some via crypto art. So Fuocious has gone on to have very successful drops on Nifty Gateway and elsewhere, and is one of the highest grossing artists in the movement. So Bittersweet's a collaboration between two people that have become very good friends and are both very young and sort of up and comers in the space. And then happy to feel free, I guess, and to any of the audience members. Narra Gallery is open, and so do come by and see the rest. Let's maybe go to some of Gabby's work now.
Yeah, so what I actually want to do is take people to the fifth floor. So we alternate our collections. So the first floor is Colin's, second floor is mine, third floor is Colin's, fourth floor is mine. The fifth floor is an exhibition space, and we want to take you guys there because we're doing an event for the first time. And yeah, it's really very special because apart from collecting our artist work, this is the first time that we're actually creating original artwork with a lot of the artists that we collect. So we have a drop happening in Nifty Gateway, which is pretty remarkable because it's usually independent artists that do a drop. And here we collaborated with 12 of our favorite artists. So basically 6 artists that I'm collecting, 6 artists that that Colin is collecting. And with this group of 12, yeah, we came together and thought about, what kind of drop, what we wanted to do. So we settled on the Zodiac series. So it's a Chinese Zodiac signs. And you can see here in the wheel that the style of each artist really comes through. We assigned each one of them an element and an animal. And yeah, it's just really amazing. And we have artists such as Android Jones, who is super famous, People Pleaser, who is a very known digital artist who also came from game development, working at Blizzard. Colin, wanna talk about some of the pieces here, like androids? Yeah, the dragon.
Sure. Yeah. This is yeah. So actually, keep both in frame. Actually, that's great. Or even all 3. Yeah. So this here is the Water Dragon by Android Jones, and so we did a selection mechanism where each of the artists kind of got to bid or vie for the animal they wanted, and then they got to pick the element. Android Jones has a long track record of creating these incredible dragons. So in addition to kind of interesting portrait work with, like you saw with Blue Wave, he's done a series of kind of very psychedelic looking kind of visuals for different animals. Another noteworthy one that I don't think it's hung right, it's in the collection right now, but he has a very famous tiger that I fell in love with as well. In this one, we were lucky enough to have him create a dragon for us, which I think he worked on and is kind of great because there's kind of a canon now of Android Jones dragons. To the right of that, you can see the snake by the snake there by Glass Crane. Again, one of the artists I mentioned on the first floor. This is truly a drop of of all of our favorite
magnitude.
Artists, right? So yeah, exactly. So it is kind of it's very much the collection we would want want to purchase. So and then maybe actually to the left of Android's dragon, you also see. So this is Android Jones is doing, or sorry, Glass Crane is doing metal snake, and then to the left, well, other direction, yeah, you have Totemical's wooden rabbit. Yeah, there, which I think is a really good one. In particular, none of the other artists picked wood as the element, and so this is actually the only wooden one in the set. And Totemical really here is showing his range because he has, you can see elsewhere in the collection, he's a fantastic kind of digital painter, 3D sculpture, and here you see not just doing kind of psychedelic androids. It's wooden rabbits and interesting textures and that sort of thing. I think wood was actually probably one of the harder elements to portray, since most of these are 3D artists.
To the left of the rabbit is Daniela Atfield. So she's a 22-year-old South African artist with an extremely distinct art style, and you see here a water tiger, and I really love her art style. I've been collecting her for maybe since last year, and it's really great, in particular with Daniela, because she started with a kind of very low price with her pieces, and you could see with each succeeding artwork, this gets better, the detail keeps getting better. She's a great relationship with the collectors, and now she's able to command a much higher price for her artwork. And that's kind of how Colin and I have our approach to crypto art collection. So it's not just really kind of buying pretty pictures on the internet that are on non-fungible tokens, right? Each NFT that we buy is really a relationship between the collector and the artist. So it's our way of kind of investing in the long-term career of the artists that we buy into, and we want to help make them successful. We want to help them reach a wider collector base. And part of this drop-in NFT gateway is also giving a larger platform for these artists for people to see and appreciate their work. Notable in this artist is that there are also 2 Filipino artists that are participating. To the immediate left of that, this is Shelly Soneja's Metal Ox. So Shelly has a really kind of long career of doing kind of like women pinups, very strong women, and yeah, it's the same here. She's one of my favorite artists that I've known for a long time. She's worked in the game industry and in comics as well, and it's really nice to see that she's really held her own on the international crypto art scene, gotten into a lot of collabs, now getting pretty good prices also on her artwork, and now this is going to be her debut on Nifty Gateway. Okay. Oh yeah, let's go to the wheel, please. Yeah, so I guess the final thing to add on this collection is that we'll be selling each artwork as a kind of individual pack drop. So which means that you buy a pack and you get a random one of these 12. But this one of one, the wheel which will be animated is going to be a one of one up for auction. And this is a super special piece for us. And a lot of the artists kind of contributed to the detail of this, and the animation is really nice. And yeah, this is going to be the highlight of the drop on Monday morning Philippine time. So yeah, before we move on to the other works, yeah, Colin, something you wanted to add?
Yeah, I think perhaps here a theme to notice, and hey to just calling out whoever this visitor is here. We love it when again, the gallery's open here, so we like it when there's other people here, and it kind of goes to show that it is kind of a big open public work. Yeah, I think the thing to highlight here is when Gabby and I originally started Narra Gallery, we didn't really know what it would be. We kind of knew that there needed to be a space for like creatives in the Filipino creatives in the metaverse, and a space kind of for our collections and stuff. And I think as we've continued to play in the crypto art world, Narra Gallery has really become a vehicle for us to do a lot of things. So I think we're excited to do exhibits like this one with Art Fair. We're excited to do drops like our one with Nifty Gateway. Another notable one we have is we've started a fund, which because we haven't actually talked that much about the mechanics of crypto art just yet, but crypto art essentially is built on NFTs, or non-fungible tokens, which are tokens that play on the Ethereum blockchain. And so blockchains are essentially public infrastructure, and so there actually is a nominal upfront cost to use them. So to create your first work, you actually have to have a contract, an interaction with the network, and that costs money, right? And sometimes, especially when the network's very busy, that can be $100 or so upfront in expense. And so something that Gabby and I started is the Narra Gallery was the seed capital into what we call the First Mint Fund. And the First Mint Fund, let's go here to the third floor. The First Mint Fund is essentially a public fund that allows Filipinos and Southeast Asian crypto artists to apply for a grant, and we will, with no strings attached, we will give them, the amount of money needed to create their first NFT and get started in the space. We see it as kind of an important sort of onboarding mechanism. Yeah, I think we're we want to be creative about additional ways to play in the space like this. Oh, and that's run by by AJ. Yeah.
Am I on the right floor, guys?
Yeah, that's the third floor.
Okay.
Oh,
now you went
oops.
down.
Oops. Hold on.
It's okay. You
Sorry.
can just wait for the elevator. to go back to the
Yeah,
third floor.
the elevator can be a little unruly.
Oh, both Ghost Girl and Lady Inoki are from Seattle. They're artists, actually.
Oh, okay.
Here we go.
Alrighty.
Very cool.
So this floor here was set up specifically for art fair. This is a collection of Filipino and Southeast Asian artists in our private collections, Gabby and mine's private collection. And so here you'll see, hopefully some of these people are listening in. Here you'll see a collection of
Let's start with Siobhan.
Homegrown.
Because she's here.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, actually, I haven't been able to check the guest list. Yeah, I guess let's start just up the ramp here. These two pieces are here by a Singaporean artist named Siobhan Wong. She actually originally started my understanding is she originally started as a fashion photographer. I think with the pandemic kind of affecting the ability to do shoots and everything, she pivoted to digital art and creates these very realistic looking 3D models. And so essentially these are the, you can pose the model and I think these are the shoots she would like to do. These are kind of dream shoots, and you can kind of, again, there's a surreal element with the rose on the face and kind of the setting and the background and the sparkles. And so, I think it's a truly digital native use case for kind of, fashion and photography. And so these are really cool works. She's also kind of, there's a crypto art social network, which is kind of trying to be the Instagram for NFTs. And she is really one of the power users on that platform. That's called Showtime. So she's kind of the queen of Showtime. And so, yeah, these are two works in my collection. The one on the left is called Luna Moon. It's from a series. This is Luna Moon 3. So that model was used in a few different poses. And then the one on the right is called Stella or Stelle 1. And so these are both in my collection and big fans of them. Yeah. Gabby, wanna give a few?
Yeah, sure. Let's go down. Yeah. The cyberpunk one, second from the right.
Yep.
This one. Yeah. That's right. All right, let's open it up. So this one is from a Filipino artist named Marvel Del Mundo, and this one is called Glitch. So Marv is kind of a long-time member of the comic book scene in the Philippines, and late last year he transitioned to NFTs as well. He's notable most recently for being part of the Trece series, and Trece is actually headed to Netflix now for an animated series. So it's interesting to see that people like Marvin, they've been part of the comic book scene for a while, in the digital art scene. They usually go to Comic Cons and they rarely interact with the kind of more traditional art scene. So the interesting thing about crypto art is it kind of merges these worlds together. And now you have these digital artists that are displaying in galleries like ours. And it's really nice to see that these digital artists are also being recognized internationally for the work that they've created. Let's move to the one by Luis.
The Mononoke one? Well, there's a couple of them.
That one. The 3PO one. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There we go. P1374. So this was created by Luis Buenaventura, who is one of the, I would say, earliest crypto artists to ever appear on the scene. So he's been making a lot of Bitcoin themed art. He mashes a lot of kind of pop culture art, as you see here, with Bitcoin price, and he calls himself Crypto Pop. So what's notable about Luis is that He was one of the first digital artists ever to mint NFTs back in 2017. And he's been a long-time member of the art platform Maker's Place. And yeah, really, really kind of a part of crypto art history.
He's going to be giving a talk next week too. Basically, it's basically like a full run through for how to go from minting your first NFT to selling, promoting, and into even converting your cryptocurrency into like from Ethereum into like pesos. So keep a lookout.
That's on May 14th.
Yeah,
that's on May 14th. Yeah. Real quickly, just on the topic of Louise, the one on up above, the Princess Mononoke one. We don't have to go up there, but yeah, that one is also by Louise. It's right next to the pieces by Siobhan. Those are, it's basically a portrait of his kind of imagining of Princess Mononoke. It's a favorite film of mine. And then I think notable here is I kind of built my collector persona before I was super public about collecting crypto art around the mythology of Princess Mononoke. And so I definitely had to have this one just because I thought it fit very well into the collection and the theme. I actually have some other works by other artists about, around the great forest spirit and kind of some of the other pieces of that mythology.
Shall we show Sevi's work?
Yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah. And actually, for the ones we don't, we can do shout outs kind of to the different artists here. But yeah, so this one here is Koi by Sevi. Do you want to give? So Sevi is one of our probably our youngest artist from the
one of the recipients of First Mint Fund. That's right.
Exactly. Yeah. Gabby, do you want to? Yeah, go ahead, Gabby. Yeah.
Yeah, Sevi is very notable as an 8-year-old boy with autism who really fell in love with painting. And actually, his mom is in the audience. And I think he's been painting for over 3 years now. So the art is his therapy, and he's really fallen in love with it. And people have really taken to Sevi's story once when he started minting his artwork as NFTs, and has actually found a really good audience of collectors and artists that are supporting him as well. And this goes to show like how supportive the crypto art community is. Some of the artists actually bought his work and helped him buy a tablet so that he can paint more and draw more of his artwork. And we're really proud of Sevi being one of the recipients for First Mint Fund so that he could mint his NFTs. And yeah, this is the kind of stories that we'd like to see. And for people that are able to integrate with the crypto art community, it's really gratifying to see these people find an international audience for their artwork, where traditionally it would be very hard to find one in like not only in traditional art but also in digital art before NFTs.
Yeah, and I'd say another sort of theme as part of that. I think the reason Gabby and I are both so passionate about crypto, not just crypto art, but the crypto ethos, is the promise of it truly is that it's permissionless, it's decentralized. The access points are widely proliferating. There shouldn't be gatekeepers, right? And so it doesn't matter if you are a very established artist in the US or Europe, or a child in the Philippines, or what have you, right? It's really a movement for everyone, and it's one that is widely open and accessible. And so, I think for us, I think Sevi's a great example of that, and I think it's part of the ethos of just really anyone can participate. It's meritocratic, and it's open, and it's global, and so in the metaverse, no one cares who you are or where you are. It's an open participatory experience. Maybe just we don't need to go into each of these pieces. A few, I think many of the pieces up above here are by an artist called Silverback. It's not spelled like Silverback. He's a good friend of Chris's. He spoke yesterday. He is based in Cebu, I believe. And so these are, this one I think is called Fractal Visions. And so he's got I connected with him because he's big into the solar punk movement, which is a movement to you know, kind of proliferate. It's a very green and ecological movement. So he has a lot of his broader work is, you know, it relates to I'd say ecology and kind of you know, greening up the urban environment. I think the piece in front of us is a scene from Philippine folklore, and you know, generally speaking, have gotten to connect with him kind of more generally, not just about crypto art, but kind of philosophy and urban architecture and that sort of thing. And then, yeah, that piece there is called Manila, a Saint-Rémy de Provence by, I promise it's by two Filipinos. That's by Jupiter Arias and Sushinobi Ed. Yeah, that one there. That's just a collab. Which I like the painting style and stuff. I think, Gabby, are there additional ones from your collection you want to showcase, or should we go up to floor 4? Or maybe even
let's go up to the next floor. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, while we're going up, just a question on how to visit the virtual space.
Real quickly, the space, we might want to call out the Bianca one. We might want to just give a quick shout out to the Bianca one and to the that one. That's okay. That one directly in front of us there was by Bianca, and she has a work which you can claim as part of this exhibit if you visit Narra Gallery.
Yeah, on the Art Fair Philippines website, besides having a bunch of resources on the basics for crypto and NFTs, there's also sort of an NFT quest, and that involved just setting up your MetaMask wallet and coming into Narra Gallery and taking a screenshot and just signing up, and then you'll get a chance to win one of 50 special Art Fair Philippines NFTs that will basically airdrop or send to your wallet. But yeah, and then in the chat, guys, everyone, there's the link to get into Decentraland.
Yeah.
So just check it out. I think Gabby posted it up in the chat.
Yeah. So Decentraland is a virtual world that you can visit with your web browser. So it's a 3D world. You also need a MetaMask Ethereum wallet. And Chris, maybe you can type up the link on our NFT one-on-one so that people can view that as well. And yeah, if you want to visit the virtual worlds that are enabled by NFTs, you will need your own crypto wallet as part of your browser. And yeah, it just opens up a whole new world where you can collect NFTs, you can visit virtual worlds, you can get game items. And yeah, that's really kind of the magic of the metaverse, is that having access to these worlds via your crypto wallet gives you just access to different worlds you can visit.
Totally. And actually, there's a question here I'd like to answer live that I think we should probably do some additional context setting actually. So the question here by an anonymous attendee is, what is the difference between crypto art and digital art? Which I think is a really fantastic question. I think the thing to understand about, I think we keep using the word crypto. Crypto is specifically in reference to a broader movement that involves this new technology called the blockchain, right? And before I lose you, I won't go into too many specifics on how it works. It's most notable for its architecture with Bitcoin and then Ethereum and Binance Coin and others. The key part to understand is that prior to blockchain technology, scarcity on the internet was not possible, right? So if I have a digital file, a photo or a song or what have you, there was no way to prove that the file had not been copied or to prevent it from being copied and distributed widely, right? So if Chris sends me a photo and says, that's the only photo, I could just make as many copies of it as I want and send it, right? There was no way of proving uniqueness or individuality or scarcity, right? And with the blockchain, you can create digital scarcity for the first time. And so it's most notable because people have used it to create scarce money, right? And so Bitcoin has a provable and finite amount of Bitcoins, as does Ethereum and these sorts of things. With crypto art, what you're creating is not a scarcity of the file, of the image file. There's a lot of jokes about, well, I can just steal the image, can't I? Take a screenshot of it or, save it and these sorts of things. That's true. But what you can do is you can create a scarce and, provably limited and scarce certificate of authenticity, essentially, right? So you can say, this version of the file, I know for sure is directly from the artist. I know it's the only one of its kind. And that provenance thing, I think, for those, experienced in the art world, I think that provenance thing is a key part of that world, and is now also technically possible in the digital world, right? So crypto art versus digital art. Crypto art is, I suppose, a subset of digital art, but crypto art has an important innovation, which is it's provably scarce, and thus you can kind of create a market for it, right? Mm-hmm. And Chris, maybe you could add some context here as well, given that you have a better bridge between those worlds too.
Well, I guess like in terms of like it helps create a mental model, I think, in terms of what's going on with the crypto art, in terms of the provenance or the traceability of the work being bought and sold or placed on the blockchain. There's sort of it creates a better, I think, in my opinion, a better accessibility in terms of being able to understand one's participation in a creative economy, in terms of like how this transaction might directly affect an artist or a creative or cultural institution. So and I really think it's like there's that sort of I guess the digital aspect of how the work or the transaction is recorded on the blockchain, I think has been a great sort of my friend was saying it's sort of like almost like a pill for all these people that are now collecting new media work, where it's just like now they're like it's sort of like a sort of a gateway.
Yeah. What color's the pill?
Yeah,
red pill, right?
Yeah, red pill or blue pill. Yeah. So
Yeah, I think another notable thing about crypto art is that it gives artists access to a global 24/7 market that would be a lot harder to do if the artwork wasn't on the blockchain. And if they mint their art as an NFT, sell it on a platform such as OpenSea or SuperRare, somebody from around the world likes it and decides to pay for it, they get compensated immediately for that work. So the money transfers from the collector's wallet to the artist's wallet, and the artist in turn sends the NFT via smart contract. So it's programmed by the platforms directly to the collector's wallet. And this is pretty revolutionary in that the transfer is immediate. The collector has the artwork immediately in their wallet, and they have ownership of it. And the artist has the money immediately, and they can do whatever they want with that money, whether you store it, you save it, use it in other applications, or maybe withdraw it to fiat. And for Filipino artists in particular, this has been really revolutionary in that they've been able to tap the global market for the art that they want to make, not the art that their clients want to make. A lot of the artists that have succeeded in the crypto art scene from the Philippines are ones that are used more to doing freelance work, commissions, client work, and being paid maybe an hourly rate for that. And now you have Filipinos that are earning, some of them hundreds of thousands of pesos per artwork, some of them millions of pesos for a drop. Of course, it's not like that for everyone. You still have to hustle, you still have to talk to people in the community, you still have to market our artwork. But yeah, most importantly, there is a viable market for the art that these artists want to make. And if they find that market, it's basically a very lucrative market that they've probably never seen before.
Gabby, you bring up a really great point in terms of the sort of digital accessibility. Also touching on Colin's earlier point, it's sort of this beautiful cycle that has been created with NFTs, because you have new media and digital artists making their work using the computer, using digital sort of tools, and then you have them placing this work on, you know, a digital marketplace, whether it's centralized or decentralized, and then you have the transaction taking place. In most cases, the ideal scenario is using a digitally native cryptocurrency, you know, like an Ethereum or some sort of stable coin or Bitcoin. And when you like there's moments like in this sort of space when you think about that, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's sort of like, it's so sci-fi, where there's sort of a non-artist pushing their work on Twitter, on Discord chat rooms, and people are buying their work using Ethereum and transacting it, sending the artwork digitally into the wallet. It sort of feels like, yeah, we're in some sort of science fiction novel, when like in this sort of in this whole NFT space. And I think that's really like, for me, one of the biggest parts about this moment right now, and all this sort of hype and media recognition. I think they forget about the beauty in that sort of cycle of taking place for some of these, for a lot of new media artists right now.
I'll answer one question. What is the popularity of crypto art in the PH? How about in the global stage? So I would say that it is just starting to have broader awareness in the Philippines, although there have been some artists that have paved the way for crypto art in the Philippines. So one of them is Bianca, who is here. She goes by Squirter in Twitter, and yeah, she's been in the crypto art space since, I would say, early last year, and has found a wide range of global collectors for her artwork. And yeah, she's from Davao, and it's nice to see that she's really succeeding. She's doing extremely well in this space. We have artists like Shelly Soneja and Caroline Lee, who are part of our Nifty Gateway collection. So they are yeah, they're both digital artists that have found their way into NFTs, coming from, you know, game development. And yeah, they've also done several collaborations with artists around the world. And now I think a lot more digital artists in the Philippines are exploring NFTs. I think some of them are a little daunted by kind of the technology surrounding, you know, NFTs, crypto, how to download a wallet. But for those that kind of get over those initial hurdle and start integrating with the global crypto art community, a lot of the Filipinos have seen success, because a lot of Filipinos are just really great artists, except that it's been hard to tap a global market for their original artwork. And yeah, for those that have been able to break through, we're seeing like really good success with them.
Oh, on that note,
Yeah,
Gabby,
totally.
just like to remind everyone that on the website, you know, if you're looking to get into crypto art, there is a link to a Discord server called Crypto Art PH or Crypto PH, and we'll throw that up in the chat shortly. But there's a great community there. Everyone's very helpful. Everyone's like, you know, there's other artists, designers, creatives in those Discords that you can connect with, and sort of, you know, have someone to be there along in this journey, because I would say that's probably one of the most important parts in crypto in general, is just having you know, your friends along the way, whether they're digital or real life, because sometimes, you know, it can be quite a daunting space, as Gabby was saying, just taking your first step forward.
By the way, we encourage more
Totally.
questions to be typed out in the Q&A portion. If you have some questions,
Yeah.
you can just type it out there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have a question for you. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Colin.
Yeah, just to add on to the popularity of crypto art in the Philippines. So, and about crypto art globally. So certainly, there's a lot of hype around crypto art right now, and NFTs generally, right? So, crypto art, I would say, is a subset of NFTs. NFTs also have collectibles, games, and some other categories. So crypto art has definitely had very much a moment, you know, so far this year. Notable ones are globally. Beeple had an auction on Christie's that ended up going for $69 million. Pac, which is an artist in, I've got a few of in the collection on the first floor. He's had an auction that where a few of the pieces went for over $1 million each. And I think generally speaking, you know, the large platforms platforms like Nifty Gateway and Super Rare and these others have had, a lot of very, very high, they've been both high volume and, high ticket. And so, I think it's having a moment globally. I will say in the Philippines, it's still kind of being discovered. However, I do think that we're fairly well represented, right? So, especially relative to kind of, maybe our peer group, in Southeast Asia, these sorts of things. I think the Philippines has, certainly we have Narra Gallery and some of the initiatives we're doing there. Luis Buenaventura, who we've mentioned a couple of times, has been in the space for quite a while. And has had a lot of success on Maker's Place and even Nifty Gateway and so forth. And so, I think that the Philippines, it's still definitely still being discovered, widely. However, I think within kind of the people that are insiders in the crypto art community, I mean, I'm sure that they're generally aware that there is a Philippine presence in the crypto art world. And so I think, I think that's something we're quite proud of, that we've gotten to be a part of. And I think is, I think we hope to get more Filipinos involved, because that presence will only increase. Yeah, Chris, you were going to ask another question before I interrupted.
Yeah, I just so any plans for maybe a future physical manifestation when things normalize? Like, would you guys ever consider doing something like that, or?
So
yeah, we'd consider it. Go ahead, Gabby. Yeah.
So my dream, and we don't know how to make this happen yet, is to be able to team up with Tricky in the future. And what we'll do is put in a bunch of the digital art frames and then do actually a physical exhibit of our digital artworks. Yeah, it's just something that I would love to do in the future with partnership with Art Fair.
Yeah, if you know any exactly, if you know any major art fairs in the Philippines that would want to do this with us,
we can get Samsung to sponsor the Samsung frames and then display our artwork.
Yeah.
I'm just posting up the Discord links on the chat. But yeah, and then I guess there was a question regarding how does one, what applications are used in creating crypto art? So I would say there's a wide variety of applications, like anything from Adobe, any sort of digital like ZBrush, Blender, to we do have some artists that are also like scanning their work and sort of tokenizing physical work. There's really no rules at this point. I mean, it's so new, and I think it's really up to your own practice on how you want to discover and sort of implement and utilize this new technology to best suit your your own sort of creative output. At the end of the day, I think a lot of, like with NFTs, like a friend was saying, a good way to think about NFTs is like there are also programmable rights for artists too. So you can think about it that way as well, where if you're doing a physical work or performance piece, you could set some rules or parameters on those pieces, whether it's requiring the collector to sell the work, or the work disappears, or it's really up to yourself in terms of how you want to go about. Because I would say a lot of art are still like, they're still wading through and trying to figure out the best way to engage in the space. So yeah.
Totally. William Ireland asks a really great question, which is basically, since the pandemic has made kind of traditional interactions with the art gallery world difficult, and people have kind of looked for other ways of consuming art and culture. Do you think that the pandemic has acted as a catalyst to accelerate the growth of crypto art over the past year? So I guess I'll take this from, I'll do a quick analysis of the pros and the cons here. So the yes of this question would be, or so maybe the no of this question would be, I do think that this is coupled with kind of the crypto super cycle, right? And so there's a crypto super cycle for Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that is where a lot of the capital, I think, comes from on the collector side. And I think we would be having, my day job is I work at a large, cryptocurrency exchange, and we do quite a lot. I get asked this question a lot for work talks about, whether or not, the pandemic has affected the crypto markets. And I think that we would be in this crypto super cycle regardless, right? So I do think that we'd have, some version of a very strong bull market right now, regardless of whether or not, the pandemic had started last year. And so I think that is where a lot of the collector money comes from. And I think that monetization point would be there regardless. On the other hand, on the creator side, I think certainly I think we would not have an exhibit right now in Art Fair Philippines if Art Fair Philippines had, was widely a physical experience, an in-person experience again this year. And so in that sense, I think, major shows like Art Fair Philippines and others are probably looking into NFTs, much more strongly than they otherwise would have. And so I think that rise to, kind of cultural legitimacy has probably been accelerated by the pandemic, certainly. And then the other thing is, there's a lot of artists generally who, maybe like a great example is musicians who have not been able to tour for the last year. They're creating NFTs, and they're bringing kind of quite a lot of their, social capital into the space to do NFT drops on Nifty Gateway and elsewhere. And that has certainly, continued to grow the space. And so, I think obviously it's not a simple yes or no, but there's factors on each side. But certainly the pandemic has accelerated parts of it that I think would not have been there without it.
Yeah, I would like to add on to that in regards to like sort of alternative ways of consuming art and culture. So even beyond Decentraland, and I'm sure a lot of the participants are familiar with all these online viewing rooms that have happened in the art world over the last year. These virtual spaces, it just makes sense in terms of sort of interacting in these virtual spaces. And another group of artists I'd like to shout out is, unfortunately they don't exist in the Decentraland world. They exist more in the Minecraft world. But there's this one collective called Club Matryoshka, which is they're Manila based or Manila founded by the artist Similar Objects, and they've been hosting like Minecraft raves or parties in Minecraft during the pandemic. So like with this art, like with Narra's exhibition, with their stuff, I think it's becoming more and more commonplace, especially for those of us that are gamers. It's quite normal to be like, yo, let's just meet up on Discord or whatever sort of thing, and we play a game together. So yeah, the acceleration is definitely there, but it's for the better, I think, because as Colin was saying, on to some certain degree, like a lot of fairs, digital arts or new media, it was always sort of more of a side thing, unless the fair like really focused on new media, like a CTM festival in Germany or Currents in Santa Fe. The new media aspect has always been like sort of not a huge focus. So I think with this moment, we're with NFTs and the lockdown, there's just going to be more focus on digital art in the future, which, I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, like a lot of us have grown up with the internet, and it's sort of our generation now that's sort of like very relatable to a lot of these internet aesthetics or internet sort of based or computer generated artworks.
Yeah, and I love that there's a Minecraft rave. I think the theme that I would point to there is like, like when the .com kind of bubble happened, I think the failure of a lot of those companies were that they were trying to take real world business models and just make them digital, right? They weren't building them in digitally native ways. So it's like, we have the yellow pages, we're going to put it online. We have, things that could just exist and that worked in the physical world. They were trying to just kind of transport that very lazily into the digital world, right? And so in the same way, I think as we go to this crypto metaverse concept, and so ultimately the things that won out on the internet were things that existed natively on the internet. They weren't things that were just, the real world analog necessarily, right? Like eBay was something that could really only exist on the internet. It didn't have, it worked just because, it had internet scale, right? And so in the same way, I think we're transitioning from something where, there's going to be real, quote unquote, real world and digital world stuff. And we're going to see how it maps into the crypto world, the crypto metaverse, right? So I think one of the reasons Gabby and I are slightly reluctant to pigeonhole Narra Gallery is that we kind of know that a couple of years from now, how we think about the crypto metaverse could be even more strange than now, right? And so I really like that there's a group that creates, basically, raves or something in Minecraft, because it's weird, right? Like that's not something that you would think of, kind of in the real world. And so yeah, I think the use cases and the interaction methods, interaction mechanisms in Decentraland and Minecraft and the kind of broader metaverse space, they're going to look really weird by comparison to kind of traditional, the traditional world. So I really love that, actually.
Well, like, yeah, the other thing I wanted to add that you guys had talked about earlier, in terms of the gallery space or the gallery positioning being nebulous, I think it's extremely important because in the context of traditional art world, what Narra is doing and what's going on in the art, like the crypto art space, is like it's all new. Prior to this, there have been obviously online digital virtual based galleries, but very few and far between, and it's still very much such a radical sort of idea. Oh my gosh. Oh, well, yeah. So basically, I think
you can stop sharing your screen.
Yeah, I think it's important.
Did you plan that? Because there's a question about this.
Yeah, there's a question. There's a question. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I did it. Yeah, so that's an example. Okay. But yeah, I mean, to my point, I think it is important to keep it open because, if you have to keep it open, otherwise, how else can we sort of create new innovations within the art space or within the traditional art space or the art market or in the cultural sector? We have to keep these sort of platforms open and accessible, and also like places to play and experiment in. Otherwise, it's hard to get innovation. I mean, obviously, the gallery and the fair format, or particularly the gallery format, has been something that's been going on for decades, and there's good reason for that. But how can we innovate within that framework? And I think that's what you guys are doing. 100x and a lot of these new digital galleries are sort of playing in that space.
Yeah, we don't really think of Narra Gallery as the physical manifestation in the digital world. I mean, it's just one of the expressions of that. One of the things that we Colin and I like to call this is that it's a cultural capital fund, in the sense that we want to invest our money on cultural expressions that are unique to kind of crypto art, blockchain culture. So there is generative art, for example, that is a lot of kind of programmatic art that you cannot really recreate in the physical world. So there's a lot of themes there that we want to explore, and it may not even be only in the gallery that exists in Decentraland. It may exist in other forums, in other virtual worlds as well. And yeah, this is really just the beginning for the exploration of those kind of cultural themes in the metaverse.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, I know we're wrapping up in a little bit, but the other thing I find fascinating too with this situation is that it's sort of like we have this sort of merging of arts, culture, gaming, all in this sort of digital landscape that's sort of like kind of flattening these spaces. And it's really within this flattening that we're able to see this sort of crossover and sort of hybridity between like art, tech, design, and so on. So it's definitely like, yeah, it's a beautiful space to be in right now.
Yeah, the internet's merging all these forms. Hey, real quickly, just because of the person who asked, Mike Mislos asked a quick question, and I do want to answer because he's been a great friend of Narra Gallery. it says certainly young art. Basically, what is the compelling reason for why young artists should pursue NFT art? My quick pitch here is global, especially from the Philippines, global exposure. Kind of a meritocracy, an open market. Very, very supportive, very, very collaborative community. And I think we're trying to build institutions that make this very easy for young artists to do. So really, that's ultimately like we want Narra to be a cultural institution that helps bridge this gap for people wanting to enter the space and become successful in the space. And so, the pitch for why a young artist should consider having some NFT portion of his or her career is it's an incredibly collaborative ecosystem. It's right on the cutting edge, and we're trying to help support that. And so we do recommend, please do check it out.
Yeah, I'll add to that. As we're spending more and more of our time in the digital world, in virtual spaces, you're actually going to see a lot of the physical jobs migrate to the metaverse. So the fashion designers of today could be the avatar designers of tomorrow. The architects designing the buildings now could be designing buildings such as Narra Gallery. So you're also going to see a lot of these jobs actually migrate to the metaverse, and the metaverse needs all sorts of talent to be able to build out the virtual world that people will be inhabiting. And I think that's where a lot of the talent will go. The best talent in the world will go in the next decade or so. So if you have a kid that's interested in inhabiting these worlds, whether it be a Roblox or a Minecraft, or already checking out Decentraland, already doing NFTs, I do think that, this is where the best talent in the world is.
Got it.
Totally.
And my closing note would also be to, on the most basic level, just to be monitoring the technology and and keeping an open mind towards it, because it's definitely an exciting time to sort of be exploring like the internet right now, because I definitely think it opens up new possibilities going forward. And on that note, we have to wrap up our session. If you have any more questions, just shoot us on Twitter, and Colin Goltra, or I guess what's your Twitter, Gabby? We'll throw it up in the chat. But on that note, we'd like to invite Tricky to help close out the session and let us know what's up for the next few talks.
Thank you very much for that slice of the metaverse. I mean, it's really exciting. It's groundbreaking. We're so happy to have you guys in the art fair. We'd like to invite everybody to check out the metaverse section of the art fair. These three guys really put a special section together. Any questions you may ask, we answer. There's a very easy video instructional to follow on how to get your web wallet and how to take a tour of Narra Gallery in Decentraland. So I hope you guys take advantage of that. Thank you again. I just want to tell everybody, Chris is in New York, Colin is in Dubai, Gabby's the only one here in Manila. So I really appreciate you guys taking your time to talk to the Art Fair Philippines audience. So
sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us. We're very honored. We're very honored. Thank you.
Okay, before we go, the talk team wants a photo. So please, I'm sorry, audience, you're gonna have to see us smile for the camera. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, done. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you, Gabby, Colin, Chris. There's more in store. This is just the second day of our Welcome to the Metaverse NFT 101 showcase. Tomorrow we have another blockbuster lineup at 4 p.m. We have a conversation between Chris and Johan Koenig of the art powerhouse Koenig Gallery. He's going to be talking about the transformation of Koenig Gallery from a physical space to now its digital programming. And at 6 p.m. it's our special collaboration with Art Review magazine about NFTs. Is it a new revolution or the emperor's new clothes? So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you again to our education partners, the Ateneo Art Gallery, Museum Foundation of the Philippines, and Art Review. See you all in the metaverse. Bye-bye.